Pakistan blocks NATO trucks after airstrike. Pakistan blocked a vital supply route for U.S. and NATO troops in Afghanistan on Thursday in apparent retaliation for an alleged cross-border helicopter strike by the coalition that killed 3 Pakistani frontier troops and injured 3 others. The blockade appeared to be a major escalation in tensions between Pakistan and the United States. A permanent stoppage of supply trucks would place massive strains on NATO and hurt the Afghan war effort. Some 80% of supplies for NATO troops come through Pakistan. We will have to see whether we are allies or enemies, said the Pakistani Interior Minister. NATO said in a statement on Thursday that aircraft from the NATO-led International Security Assistance Force, ISAF, crossed the border into Pakistan Thursday morning and killed several armed individuals. The aircraft initially crossed the border briefly while targeting suspected insurgents who were firing on a coalition base from a position inside Afghanistan, the statement said. They were then fired on by people in Pakistan and crossed the border again to target that group. The statement did not say if ISAF thought those killed were border guards, and when asked for clarification, an ISAF spokeswoman said both sides were still investigating the incident. The coalition has, on at least one occasion in the past, acknowledged mistakenly killing Pakistani security forces stationed close to the border. Over the weekend, NATO helicopters fired on targets in Pakistan at least 2 times, killing several suspected insurgents they had pursued over the border from Afghanistan. Pakistan's government protested the attacks, which came in a month during which there have been an unprecedented number of U.S. drone missile strikes in the northwest, inflaming already pervasive anti-American sentiment among Pakistanis. In other words, the war in Afghanistan is not going so well. The surge in attacks and apparent increased willingness by NATO to strike targets on the border or inside Pakistan itself could be a sign the coalition is losing patience with Pakistan, which has long been accused of harboring militants in its lawless tribal regions. Pakistani security officials said Thursday's deadly airstrike took place on a checkpoint in the upper Karam region. The dead men were from a paramilitary force tasked with safeguarding the border, a security official said. Their bodies were taken to the region's largest town. The border between Pakistan and Afghanistan is unmarked. Border troops wear uniforms that resemble the traditional Pakistani dress of a long shirt and baggy trousers, which could make it hard to distinguish them from ordinary citizens or insurgents. U.S. officials have complained in the past that Pakistani security forces do little to stop the movement of militants or the Taliban seeking to cross over into Afghanistan and attack foreign troops there. Lieutenant Colonel John Dorian, a spokesman for intelligence and special operations at NATO headquarters in Kabul, said coalition forces observed early Thursday what they believed were insurgents firing mortars at a coalition base in the district of Paktia, which is next to Upper Kurram. The coalition air weapons team called for fire support and engaged the insurgents, he said. The air weapons team reported that it did not cross into Pakistani airspace and believed the insurgents were located on the Afghan side of the border. Dorian said Pakistani military officials had informed the NATO military coalition that members of the border forces had been struck by coalition aircraft. Hours after the incident, Pakistani authorities were ordered to stop NATO supply trucks from crossing into Afghanistan at the Torkham border post a major entryway for NATO materials at the edge of the Khyber tribal region. By mid-morning, there was a line of some 100 NATO vehicles at the checkpoint. The other main route into Afghanistan and southeastern Pakistan had received no orders as yet to stop NATO trucks from crossing, which they were doing as normal. Some 80% of non-lethal supplies for foreign forces fighting in landlocked Afghanistan are transported over Pakistani soil after being unloaded at docks in Karachi, a port city in the south. While NATO and the United States have alternative supply routes, the Pakistani ones are the cheapest and most convenient. Though many analysts believe that the strikes by unmanned U.S. drones are carried out with the tacit approval of Pakistan, any border incursions by foreign troops is a highly explosive issue in Pakistan. In June 2008, a U.S. airstrike killed 11 Pakistani troops and frayed the two nations' ties. Pakistan said the soldiers died when U.S. aircraft bombed their border post in a tribal region. U.S. officials said the coalition's aircraft dropped bombs during a clash with militants. They expressed regret over the deaths, but said their attack was justified. Pakistan and the United States have a complicated but vital relationship with serious distrust on both sides, and it appears to be getting worse. Polls show many Pakistanis regard the United States as an enemy, and conspiracy theories abound of U.S. troops wanting to attack Pakistan and take over its nuclear weapons. The Pakistani government has to balance its support for the U.S. war in Afghanistan and its need for billions and billions of dollars in American aid with maintaining the support from its own population. And again, there's something much bigger going on here. Because these are more signs of the times, the end times, transition days, which is a continuing day-by-day process. In other words, everything that's not right has to change, and for the better, rapidly or quickly. Continuing, Revelation chapter 16, verse 12. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the leaders of the east might be prepared. 13. And I saw 3 unclean spirits like frogs come out of the mouth of the dragon, now the mouth of the beast, now the mouth of the false prophet. 14. For they are the spirits of devils, working miracles, which go forth unto the leaders of the earth and of the whole world, to gather them to the battle of that great day of God Almighty. 15. Behold, I come as a thief. Blessed is he that watches and keeps his garments, lest he walk naked, and they see his shame. 16. And he gathered them together into a place called in the Hebrew tongue Armageddon. 17. And the seventh angel poured out his vial into the air, and there came a great voice out of the temple of heaven from the throne, saying, It is done. 18. And there were voices, and thunders, and lightnings, and there was a great earthquake, such as was not since humans were upon the earth, so mighty an earthquake, and so great. And all these are more signs of many kinds, happening daily, all around the world.